So after discussing this IV fluid management, now we'll go to the second presentation for today, which is again one of the very common cause of neonatal admission to NICU. That is neonatal hypoglycemia. So the learning objectives of this presentations are to define hypoglycemia in neonate, identify the neonates who are at a risk of hypoglycemia, then how to estimate blood sugars in neonates, and how to manage hypoglycemia. So first definition, again there are a lot of debates regarding this definition, but if you look at the Indian guidelines, various Indian guidelines, our AIMS protocol, all of them advocate a blood sugar of less than 45 milligram per deciliter as the threshold of hypoglycemia. So we'll also define blood sugar less than 45 milligram per deciliter as hypoglycemia. And it is the most common metabolic disorder in the neonates and requires admission to NICU often. Often anticipation, prevention, and early treatment can reduce mortality and morbidity, long-term sequelae related to hypoglycemia. Then coming to who are the babies who are at a risk of developing hypoglycemia. Basically what happens in utero, this glucose is coming from the mother to the baby through placenta by a facilitated diffusion, and baby produces its own insulin to regulate the sugar balance in the body. But after birth, what happens? This continuous supply of glucose is cut off, and the baby must generate sugar in the initial period of life, or adequate intake has to be ensured to prevent hypoglycemia. So often what happens if there is a decrease in the supply or increase in the demand, then this baby can develop hypoglycemia. Or if there is lack of storage, like glycogen, IUGR babies, they don't have glycogen, sufficient amount of glycogen. So all these babies can develop hypoglycemia. So what are those babies? So first is premature and low birth weight neonates, infants of diabetic mothers, small for gestational age babies and IUGR babies. And if the mother has taken some drugs like beta blockers, that can also, the neonates can develop hypoglycemia. And neonates who are requiring IV fluids, and all sick neonates like perinatal asphyxia, baby who are delayed feeding, sepsis, hypothermia, polycythemia, they all can develop hypoglycemia. So these babies has to be monitored for blood sugar at a frequent interval. So for routine screening of all the at-risk neonate, we should monitor blood sugar at 2 hours, 6 hours, 12 hours, 24 hours, 48 hours, and if required, 72 hours. All neonates who are on IV fluids should monitor blood sugar every 8 hours. And after any baby who are hypoglycemia managed, and after we have stopped IV fluids, or if the baby no longer requires IV fluids, 2 further readings are required at least at the interval of 12 hours. If both the readings are normal, we can stop sugar monitoring. So then coming to the technique of estimation of blood sugar. So glucometer is available in all SNCUs. So we'll discuss some of the do's and don'ts while estimating blood sugar. So we use glucometer for estimation of blood sugar in neonate at SNCU. The site should be heel prick or a peripheral vein. Heel should be warm. So how to make the heel warm? Either you can warm the heel by using lukewarm water, or you can just cover the heel for some period before estimation. Then prepare the site with 70% isopropyl alcohol or spirit. It is always important to allow some time to dry the spirit, and prick the posterolateral aspect of heel and follow the instruction on the reagent strip bottom. And if the blood sugar is found to be low, always try to send a lab sample for confirmation. Then again, this is the site. We should not avoid pricking in the middle portion of the thigh, middle portion of the heel. We should prick on the both sides of the heel for estimation of blood sugar. Then what we should avoid while doing a blood sugar estimation? So heel should not be cold to touch. Second, avoid pricks in the middle portion of the thigh. Avoid deep pricks, and povidone iodine should not be used because the contamination can significantly elevate your blood sugar level. And allow the site to dry before estimate, before pricks. And lab analysis should not be delayed. So if you are sending a blood sample for lab estimation, then it should not be delayed, because a delay in analysis often results in a fall in plasma sugar by about 14 to 18 milligram per deciliter per hour. So again, how to estimate blood sugar, we'll see at the end of this presentation. Then symptoms of hypoglycemia in neonate are often non-specific. They can be divided into two categories. One is the neurogenic or adrenergic symptoms, and second one is the neuroglycopenic symptoms due to lack of glucose to the brain or neurons. So these symptoms are often non-specific, like irritability, jitteriness, lethargy, poor cry, high-pitched cry, poor feeding, tachycardia, vomiting, sweating, seizure, apnea, tachypnea. All these things can be present. So these are the common differential diagnosis. Because the same clinical picture can be there with the neonatal sepsis, hypothermia, perinatal asphyxia, hypocalcemia. So these are the common differential diagnosis of neonatal hypoglycemia. So it is a good practice always to check blood sugar in every sick neonate admitted to SNCU or NICU. And if the signs are not elevated after correction of blood sugar, then we should consider other diagnostic possibilities. Then coming to glucose infusion rate, it is the rate at which glucose is infused into the vein or circulation. So glucose infusion rate has a formula. The formula is percentage of dextrose into fluid rate in ml per kg per day divided by 144. Then coming to management of hypoglycemia. So hypoglycemia, any blood sugar less than 45 milligram per deciliter. So it can be of two types. Either the baby with hypoglycemia can develop certain symptoms, just we have discussed, or the baby may not have any symptoms. So that is called as asymptomatic hypoglycemia and symptomatic hypoglycemia. So it can be either asymptomatic or symptomatic. So if the baby is having hypoglycemia but has no other symptoms, then and the blood sugar is more than 25 milligram per deciliter, then we should give a measured feed for about 20 to 30 ml. It may be express breast milk or breastfeeding, or you can give formula also. And we should check blood sugar after 1 hour. So if after 1 hour of checking blood sugar is more than 45 milligram per deciliter now, so consider frequent feeding and monitor blood sugar every 6 hours. Okay, but again, if the blood sugar is more than 25 milligram per deciliter, then again follow the same steps. But if the blood sugar is less than 25 milligram per deciliter, we should start glucose infusion. Or if the baby is symptomatic, we should start glucose infusion. First, we should give a bolus, 10% dextrose, 2 ml per kg over 1 minute. And it should be followed by a glucose infusion of 6 milligram per kg per minute. So before starting therapy, we should send a sample for confirmation of glucose to the lab. Then after starting glucose infusion of 6 milligram per kg per minute, we should evaluate blood sugar after 30 minutes. So if the blood sugar is now more than 45 milligram per deciliter, we should begin oral feeds and monitor blood sugar every 6 hours. But if the blood sugar is still less than 45 milligram per deciliter, we should increase the glucose infusion rate by 2 milligram per deciliter. So now it becomes 8 milligram per kg per minute. And again, we should check blood sugar after 30 minutes. Then also we have two possibilities. Either it will be more than 45 or less than 45. So if now the blood sugar is more than 45 milligram per deciliter for next 24 hours, we can taper glucose infusion by rate of 2 milligram per kg per minute every 6 hours and begin oral feeds and monitor blood sugar every 6 hours. But if the blood sugar is still less than 45 milligram per deciliter, after start increasing GIR, we can further increase up to a GIR of 12 milligram per deciliter, milligram per kg per minute. So if a baby or neonate require a glucose infusion rate of more than 12 milligram per kg per minute, then it's called as refractory hypoglycemia. So in this condition, we should give injection hydrocortisone 2 milligram per kg, and we can refer to a higher center for further management. So one important aspect here is that up to 12.5% of dextrose can be administered through peripheral vein. So any glucose concentration more than this needs a central line placement. So all babies who had hypoglycemia, they are prone to develop certain neurological problems. It may be seizure, neurodevelopmental sequelae, seizure, developmental delay, and cognitive deficits. So we have to regularly follow these babies and monitor their developmental status periodically. So coming to the key messages, so hypoglycemia is a common problem in preterm neonates, low birth weight, sick neonates, and infant of diabetic mothers. Hypoglycemia can cause brain injury and associated with long-term neurodevelopmental impairment. So neonates at risk of hypoglycemia should be screened using glucometer and intensive early breastfeeding and frequent feeding often helps to prevent hypoglycemia in neonates. And neonates with hypoglycemia should be followed regularly for developmental status. Thank you.